first, when I arrived, everything just seemed to be grey and cold, and that was actually the first feeling I had. It's just feeling of you know, being cold and being scared. Being scared because of not knowing, you know, what the future holds for me, and I didn't know what was going on in my country either. At the time when I arrived, the trouble was brewing. It didn't really happen yet, and I bought a return ticket, thinking everything will settle down and I will go back home in 3 months' time, use this ticket. Because after all, you know, this place wasn't my home. I couldn't speak the language. I felt cold. I didn't know anyone, and it just looked tough. I never realized that I will never go back to what used to be my country, former Yugoslavia. I did go back after many years, but in country, my country was split up on you know, different smaller countries. It was hard kind of process of finding your feet here and of assimilating with this culture. I suppose it is a process that in a way makes you really tough.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, you're really fearless. You just feel you can go anywhere, and certainly you can do anything. And I did it, and I did go everywhere, and I did do many things that, you know, it kind of fulfilled me as a human being. I cooked everywhere in the world, and I love that. And I think once, you know, because, you know, food is something that brings people together, and wherever I went, whether they were, you know, Arabian deserts of empty quarters, or you know, in Indian villages, or you know, in the Bosnian heights, or you know, on the Dalmatian coast. It's the food that I brought that actually brought just people together, and that's really great. And then I decided to open my house as a secret paladares twice a year to local community, because I wanted them to try to have a little bit of Bosnia, to capture the spirit of it, and to capture it in my house, eating my food, listening to my stories, and listening to Bosnian music, really, which is kind of, I brought it with me, I brought it in my soul. It was essential, it was saving me, actually, the Bosnian traditional music, saving me from all the troubles in this world, you know. And I think we all have to have something like that, something that will protect us. It was the memories, and you know, it was my family that was far away, and that I knew that, you know, they were concerned about me, and they loved me, and they wanted me to survive in the world that was just so much unknown to them. And from their perspective, it must really, for my parents at the time, it must seem very scary. And now when I have children, I can see how, you know, how much I care, how much I'm scared for them when they go into big wide world. And yet they go with, you know, they go like a tourist, they go to explore, they go to have a fun, but I didn't. To start with, I went, I came to survive. And I think that's a big difference, and this is what maybe nowadays when young people go abroad, etc., they don't toughen up enough, you know, because, you know, going and exploring and having fun, being tourist is completely different from going to unknown and not ever maybe coming back to where your roots are. It is that feeling that you have, that the feeling of loss of culture. It's that loss of identity that just hits you when you land in somewhere unknown and you don't know whether you will ever go back. But then also there is that kind of adrenaline that we all have, all humans have, of that kicks in, and it's the survival, really, you know, that we all have inside. And you know, I now look back at things and thinking, my goodness, how did I manage to do that? How did I manage every night to learn 100 words in English? Because that was my aim, you know. I had to be able to speak, I have to be able to read English, I have to survive, and I have to blend in. And it was almost, you know, looking back now, I think I could never do that now. You know, to have that aim that you have to achieve so badly, so that you can actually be like everybody else. And yeah, this is what I mean when I you know, think of survival. You know, I almost thought that on that journey that I left my country in 1991, there was I almost saw a little seed inside me, and that seed kept growing through my journey, and at the end just became a beautiful rose, really, you know. It went, but a rose with the thorns, you know. Yeah, this is what I would call the journey of a refugee. Yeah, little seed that grows into a stem and lots of thorns, and then at the end, beautiful rose.